Hello, and welcome to the June ritual for Patreon. And if you're watching this recording, um, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. As always, for our art rituals, pull out whatever art materials you feel most called to use. Maybe even incorporate some natural materials since it is the summer solstice. We have so much of nature has bloomed. It is green, it is rich. Feel free to connect with those energies as you work. Also, make sure to pull out any other divination tools that you find supportive, whether that's a deck, crystals, incense, whatever it might be, and a journal and a pen, because we will have a quick prompt to go through. So this is uh, a ritual to really focus on setting ourselves up with the summer solstice and tapping into that alignment. So let's dive in. So the summer solstice is when the Earth's tilt just kind of shifts a little bit. The summer solstice occurs the Earth's upper half in the northern hemisphere is tilted most closely towards the sun. So this is our longest day and shortest night. You might think about the opposition of Cancer is Capricorn, and Capricorn gives us the winter solstice when we have the longest night and the shortest day. So these are oppositions, but I like to think of them as the counterparts of the complements. Complementary colors in art are the colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. And they tend to really vibrate when they're next to each other, but they're total opposite ends, right? So the opposite end of the color spectrum are on the color wheel. To green would be red, and orange to blue, and purple to yellow. So those colors are the opposites. We are shifting today from Gemini season into Cancer season. So those are some things that we can think about, how we are illuminating at this time. But it's also a interesting time to reflect on how it's been an entire 6 months since our winter solstice. We have gone from one extreme to the other, right? And this can also be a time of looking at how we have changed since then. We can think of this as a good marker of illumination, right? The sun is at its most intense. We are at the longest day. After this, we have been working towards this. The days will continue to be long, yes, but we are now working our way back. We're working our way through summer, eventually into fall, when we'll have the fall equinox, right? We have the equinox for spring and fall, but we have the solstice when it comes to summer and winter. And of course, this is all energy that is tied to cardinal signs. So we can also see this as an initiator. So one thing to think about is, what are we initiating with this shift? The mutable energy of Gemini has led us to the cardinal energy, the expansive energy of Cancer. And what that kind of opens up for us is for us to decide. It is for us to observe or dive into it. So, some solstice magic to reflect on. Now, these, if you're watching this recording, this could be just some more journaling prompts. You can feel free to pause here write these down or connect with any of these. Something I want to kind of highlight is that we have been working with every month on Patreon. We work with different words as our theme. And so one thing we can think about is our theme of this month. You remember what it is? That dedication of showing up, of being constantly coming back. Oh, hello. No Cabot's here. Happy solstice. With Cancer and the Chariot as our teachers this season. And of course, if you've been with me for a while, you know I like to think about astrology through the tarot. Cancer is represented as the Chariot. And so one thing we can think about with the Chariot in relationship to our work over on Patreon is the word discipline. Sorry, I had to go off to find that. Discipline is our theme this month. And so the Chariot is an interesting teacher of discipline because it asks, are we disciplined enough to continue growing even when we have kind of reached high spaces, almost a plateau of sorts, when it comes to our growth? And are we disciplined enough to move past that? Discipline can also be seen as how we show up, right? So if you are coming to these or watching these or taking part in the prompts on a monthly basis, are you disciplined in showing up to your creative practice, your spiritual practice, things like that? And so we can think about the solstice magic that allows us to be disciplined in how we show up and sticking to that as maybe some of what we want to focus on creating in this season is working with a more disciplined mentality, right? Like really focusing on trying to make how we show up for ourselves, our discipline, sometimes showing up for others. We're not meeting our own needs, but how can we be disciplined in the way that we show up for ourselves? And is that something we need to bringing into light this season? This is the longest day. It is the epicenter of sun. So how do we kind of honor that, right? Yeah. So before we dive in to some meditation and then intuitive art making, I want to take some time for us to journal our intentions. So these are our intentions for the summer solstice. This is what we're gonna just kind of start with journaling. Again, 5 things you are calling in, 5 things you are letting go of, a list of things you are grateful for, and 1 goal you want to accomplish before the fall equinox. So again, if we're thinking about how to be disciplined, because that is the theme this month, how do you want to show up and discipline yourself in a loving way? It doesn't have to be harsh, but like, how do we show up for us, right? And I shared this person because they have the sun on their forehead. We are taking in the sunlight. We are taking part in this important shift. It's season. Oh, sleeping. Yes. And how are we using that? To think about what is at least 1 goal. What's 1 goal? Is 1 goal to accomplish just showing up? Is it making more time for self? Or is it a bigger project? Is it something that is outside yourself, something with work, school, anything like that? Let's reflect on those things. I'm going to give us some time to journal these, to write these down, and maybe write these down on a piece of paper that you don't mind getting dirty with. So maybe cutting out, putting on your altar, or even just burning later after a few days of sitting with it, maybe for the next equinox or solstice. Maybe just for scrapbook. Follow your heart, babes. All right. Ready? I'll leave you to it. I'll check back soon. friends. Of course, as always, pause this, work as long as you need to, do what you need to do. I'm just going to take a little moment to meditate. Take a moment to get comfy. Feel grounded where you are. Close your eyes when you're ready. Deep inhale through your nose, out through your mouth. Bring your shoulders up for that next inhale to your ears. Let them down with the exhale. And repeat this maybe 2 or 3 more times. Inhale. Whatever piece works for you, keep going. One more. Yeah. Roll out the mat. Other, just come to stillness when you are ready. Maybe place one hand on the foot. Take a moment to just give yourself so much gratitude for being here, for showing up to your practice. And after all that journaling, take a moment of stillness. Yeah. So just ask the question, what is the word forward as an intention? What is the word forward as an intention? When you feel ready, imagine that in front of your nose, as if it was etched onto your eyelids and inside. Inhale here. Just feel yourself in a moment of stillness. Focusing on the breath within your nose. Your mind has wandered. Just come back to the word, that grounding word that we come back to. When you feel ready, give a little bit more gratitude to your body, breath, and then slowly take your time coming back. Maybe start by writing your word on your paper, canvas, or just down. Ready. We're gonna get into this. Always take a breath. Journal. You have heavy emotions. Write as you draw, and vice versa. There's no wrong or right thing. There's only that serves you. So I'm gonna put the music back on so that you working, and flying, painting, crafting, whatever it is. But just remember that you are here doing exactly what you need to be doing. Do not second guess, question. Enjoy the process. Follow your heart. And of course, if you don't like my jams, put on your own. This is going to be a quick one, so if you want any longer time, please stop and keep it moving. Right, friends. I'm gonna have to hop off for today. But again, this is your time. Put on some more tunes and just go forth. Continue to move on. Have fun with it. Explore mark making. If you feel stuck, look at your paper upside down or what you're working on upside down in the mirror. Things like that can help us get unstuck or at least see what's kind of giving us a hang up. But with that said, thank you for joining me. Please feel free to reach out and share how this practice supported you and ask questions. If you're interested, again, there are tons of good prompts to kind of go through and dig in on Patreon that are all public, by the way, if you're not a Patreon subscriber. You can check those out and just kind of use those as you need to supplement what you're doing as you work on harnessing your creative magic, right? So feel free to reach out to me through all the platforms, messaging, email, whatever you want to do. And lastly, I am so proud of you for showing up for yourself and for taking part in this practice. You're doing really great. All right. See you on the next one.